on his right eye, and the lower right side of his face seems to be lacking in pigmentation, likely resulting from a skin transplant. Currently wearing robes reminiscing of from his planet of Lemnos, as well as wearing his badge, office badge, as an acolyte, as well, of course, wearing his weapon of a storm bolter. He walks with purpose. The long corridors whose shadows seem to lengthen ever so slightly. He
Beautiful.
has taken well. Oh, that's enough.
Yeah,
Thank
you get an inspiration point. And Duskin, what does your character look like? What do we see?
Okay, well, as you look over to Duskin, you will see a fairly tall, about 6'2" person. He has a scar down his right cheek down to his what he called jawline, along with various other relatively new scars, as they're still pink and still healing. Over his left eye, you'll see a tattoo. You won't know the meaning of it, but it looks as though it is tribal in nature. He'll be wearing just general fatigues, no body armor, no nothing like that. On his hips, you will see a plasma pistol and a melta pistol, all fully charged and ready to go. And he will have a cape on, which, no, in fact, actually, no, he's wearing fatigue, so he won't have a cape on. Sorry, my mistake. Although you can actually see that his left hand has been replaced by a cybernetic. And looking closer, you'll actually see that the fatigues actually sink in. So you can see that this goes all the way up to his shoulder. And he is currently smoking a very fine cigar, enjoying it and blowing it on the back of blowing it on the back of Stefan's head, in the hopes that it's slightly
beautiful.
Noisy.
And Lemnon, Lemont 227, a brief description of you. Cool Skid, you're muted.
Oh. I also see a tech priest walking in, buried in his studies, as he's studying this Adari equipment that he is salvaged from. He wears a dark cloak, definitely from a different Forge world, where you see him just studying this Adari sword with extreme intensity. You see his Mechadendrites just poking at it and whatnot, and just consumed by this otherworldly technology.
Nice. Beautiful. So to the new guy, Tech Priest has usually augmentations, bionic augmentations on their back, which is almost like small cranes sticking over their shoulder that could perform various tasks. Pridwin.
As Pridwin enters the room, one can see a Skitari robed in the finery of Serix Magnus, obviously from there, but the way they carry themselves is unlike a Skitari, that hunched over, always observant posture and nature. They stand tall and walk as if they are more human than they should be, that instead of having a wholly mechanical body with fading sense skin, tearing at some places, that there is more humanity to them than there seems. Their subsystems, instead of the occasional red or green light that Mechanicus systems use, is a bright gold. He slowly makes his way into the room, arms crossed as he observes, and then a slight chuckle, and what would be a smile would cross over his face in the best way it can, as he looks to all his friends, and then to the Inquisitor, where he bows his head.
There's a cupboard. There are candles everywhere. Old art. Some you suspect from Terra. Lit up by the candlelight, there's a soft orange-yellow glow that fills your faces as you look at each other. Everything is draped in red and gold, pleasant colors, not seen anywhere else on the cruiser. The Inquisitor is standing near a window, wearing his cape and adorned with his ritual armor. He slowly turns around as you approach. You can see his graying hair, his deep wrinkles, his sad eyes reminiscent of a lion. Kind of looks down at the floor. Not sadness, but some kind of longing. He lets go of the side of the window and walks across the floor, gesturing. Servants of the God Emperor of mankind, acolytes of the holy orders. He turns to you, Stefan. He expects you to bow.
I make a sign of the Aquila and bow my head. Not too much, but obviously still respectfully, as I stand once more at attention, ready to take in all the information he's ready to bestow upon me.
He seems to have prepared something, as he fiddles with something in his hands, puts his back on his belt, kind of draws a deep breath. His eyes will look back up to you as his head is tilted to the ground. And sort of mumbles, as I suspected when I read your reports. The arbitrators and governor of Lemnos have made an excellent diplomat of you, Stefan. He looks up one more time. The navigator scion of House Brabazum shared the exact location of the Faceless Trade's rendezvous. He very quickly takes up the little piece, and suddenly a hologram will emit from a square wooden box that he placed on the floor ahead of time. It reaches about up to his hip. You can see what looks like a constellation and planets whirring around. The Inquisitor circles it and looks back to you. The Faceless Trade have mobilized the Navigator houses in a treasure hunt for the lost world. Their wild gathering and hunt will take place in a former Remilius-class storefort in neutral space. Some Navigator houses have traded entire worlds to the heretical organization to be part of the expedition. Others refused, and one, your associate, he points to you, Stefan, has sold the information to us. I informed our diplomats of the success you have had. He looks down on a data slate he's holding in his left hand. Everyone can roll 1d5 influence and add it. This is for Stefan's success in diplomacy with House Brabazum.
You're welcome.
Well done. Ooh, 5. Nice. This is not for PUBG though. This is for your Inquisitor character. Keep that in mind.
I know.
You can do the same, Samuel Spade. You can roll a 1d5 and add it to your influence score. And because we forgot, you can also roll a 2d5 and add that to your influence. Can you hear us?
Sorry, I didn't catch what you said. You broke up.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Samuel Spade, are you here? Samuel Spade.
Yeah, I'm still here. I thought
Okay.
that I wasn't.
Okay. Can you add 2d5 to your influence score, and then another 1d5 for this session? Samuel. Samuel, can you hear me?
Ooh, nice. He rolled an 8.
Yeah, he's rolled an 8 and a 5.
Oh,
Fuck me, that's insane. Alright. You're a very influential character. The Inquisitor looks back at you, circling his hand, gesturing towards the hologram. Before the expedition fleet departs, they will give participants the approximate position of Askellon 1. When the hunt for the ancient world begins, I want you to follow a particular individual. Infiltrate his ship and capture him after you have returned from Rund. He looks to the table. There are glasses of Amasek and expensive wine. Here we go. Help yourselves. As he slowly walks across the room. Any questions? Looks back.
This map has been obtained from House Bravazon. Forgive me for being the critic of the road traders, but I do not expect this information to have come cheaply or out of the kindness of their twisted heart. What did they ask in exchange?
He will sigh deeply. Many have given their lives for this opportunity. That will suffice. Pray for them.
Stefan will nod. And would ask, and of this person that we're to follow, what do we know of it?
An important rogue trader. He, like many others, looked for the keys on Aventine, which you so cleverly intercepted. He may even be one of the nobles that you have met before, deeply connected with the trade houses and the faceless trade. His name is yet unknown.
Alright, so I'm gonna have my Megadendroid, or not my Megadendroid, but my freaking, I forgot what, Monoskull, I think it's called? The hovering skull thing. Servo skull, there we go. Just float over there and grab me a glass and just bring it over while I'm like just busy messing with this sword and just reach over my hand, just trying to reach without looking, just trying to grab the cup.
Yeah, a servo skull is a human skull that has been made into a flying cybernetic entity. It's going to fly over with pincers, grab the glass, and slowly fly it over to you. You sort of grab it out of your red robes, put it up to your mouth, and start sipping. The Inquisitor will take a short little sip, and you can see he's worn from combat. He has scars. There's pain under his armor, but it is hiding. But you can see the pain in his eyes.
Stefan will hide such notice. It is hidden for a reason, and Stefan will not comment on it.
Walking away from the candles and the bright light, he will walk over to the bed and sort of just stand there for a little while.
My liege, what of this planet ruined? What would you have us do?
He turns around and looks back on his data slate. And back to you. Have you read the reports?
I am aware that the Archconfessor has been sent ahead of us in order to deploy a forward operating base and gather enough resources and manpower for an operation, yet the details escape me.
He'll put up the data slate to his face. According to the latest reports, our military forces are uncovering the archive unruined as we speak. By the time you arrive on your slight detour, the Confessor and his stationed men should have done most of the preparations for you. We will, of course, sort of gestures with his hand, as if it's nothing, dock on a nearby world and await the extraction of the lost information about Askellon 1 from the ancient archive. Then return to pick up your dropship as you leave orbit. A simple mission. You
Experience.
mingle around the room and drink a little bit more, sort of small talk to each other. Any last words before we end the scene? Anything you want to say to each other or to the Inquisitor?
Pridwin will look to everybody. A simple mission. I think it's finally about time we had one along those lines.
Stefan will chatter for a bit as he says, all of the missions we've undertaken, Pridwin, have been simple.
Yeah, Pridwin will just chuckle in response. That is true, Stefan. That is true.
However, it would seem that we will be playing as we will be investigating some ruins. Hopefully, we won't find any eldritch horrors or who knows what there.
And Pridwin will kind of go a little quiet at that, like, yeah. I have good memories with ruins.
Anyway, I will be en route with you. However, my duties will take me elsewhere.
It's been a pleasure to serve alongside with you, Stefan.
Well, do not get used to my absence, Bridwin. We will meet soon after both of our missions are complete. And if that were to ask, Dustin, as he turns towards Dustin, if that is, well, that, tell him that you have my blessings to be in lead of all executive decisions in order to accomplish the mission.
I'll tell him that. Whether or not he'll listen is, I think we both know, a completely different matter.
Stefan pinches the bridge of his nose as in annoyance, saying, yes, you are absolutely right. It appears that I've taken too much of a liking to the quiet times on this ship and forgot who my colleagues are. Well,
However, if you give me permission to use coercive, the stick and carrot approach, then by all means, we can, I'm sure, come to an accommodation.
As long as the planet is still intact, you're free to do as you wish.
At this, he'll give a shit-eating grin and say, I can promise no such thing.
Ideally, this is what I wish for.
And you can tell it's a joke.
Yeah. Stefan does not think that this is a joke. He's fully well aware of your capabilities. However, he continues. Ideally, I would wish that our presence there to be minimal, even though it's a barren jungle planet. However, do whatever is necessary to fulfill your mission.
I can assure you it'll be fulfilled. And at this, he will extend his hand warmly and say, thank you for all you've done. I am forever in your debt.
It was my pleasure, as he takes your hand and shakes it. Very well, gentlemen. I believe that this is all. I will have to excuse myself. I am gonna have to return to the deck that I am in charge of. Reparations are still ongoing, and I'm afraid that some tech priests have much stickier metadendrites than they should be having.
And with that, we can round off the scene as you all leave the room. That you travel to Rund. You have an opportunity to send a message to them. What is the message, and do you have any orders for the confessor or the stationed man? Briefly.
Prepare for our arrival. Ready your men. The Emperor protects.
Alrighty.
Do not make any rash decisions until we arrive.
Too late.
Until we are.
Until we arrive. We'll take care of that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. We return to Rund. As sorry, you were gonna say something?
No, it's just that I missed the round.
Yeah, here we go again. You're gonna see Samuel as you approach the world. Are you here, Samuel?
I am.
Okay. As you depart from the orbiting ship, you're gonna see a bright golden mist covering the atmosphere, revealing these majestic trees and jungles that have mutated since the world came out of the warp. There are forests made entirely of root formations, trees shaped like mushrooms, rivers of glowing green water, endless reptilian beasts, flying giant dinosaur-looking creatures. Some trees grow hundreds of meters tall, and a large section of the outer atmosphere is covered by this strange growth that grows far, far from deep into these impenetrable forests. The records mention unusual events on the world, but little else is known. There are also mentions of unusual minerals growing from veins in the ground that seem to feed from the flora. The locals use them as jewelry. The local tribal population also varies greatly. You have found attractive, normal, unmutated humans. Many of them very athletic and fit. You've also found cat-like abhumans dwelling in underground and impenetrable forests. Really just mutants that the Imperium would execute or kill on sight as monsters. You've been on Ark Terminal for a while. It is the only safe haven on Rund. It has 3 floors. It's quite large. The bomb shelters have been integrated with natural caverns and is by far the largest area on the station. You are in your cabin, and you're quite alone. Hector Dunce, the Throne agent, has recently left you from the armory. You've picked up your weapon, and he's working hard to maintain and get ready all of the equipment for the Inquisition when they arrive. You're sitting in the living quarters all alone. You've been assigned to a squad of Imperial Guardsmen who have currently left on a mission. You've been ordered to rendezvous with them as soon as possible, but first to meet with Cain, the Arch-Confessor. You can go and do whatever you want. And you're currently sitting alone on a table. There's a flickering cogitator, which is a computer, on the wall next to you. The room is barely lit. There's a smell of corroded metal. And you can see the light from the lumen glow above sort of flickering in the room. Can you describe your character for us?
Samuel is a pale white male in his mid-40s. He has disheveled black hair, deep blue eyes. When you look a little bit closer at him, you do notice that he has kind of a tilt to his nose. He's clearly been in a fight or two, and this is evidence of it. As he stands up to step outside, you do notice that he walks with an unusual precision, that his spine is very, very straight. Somebody has a stick up his ass. As he walks outside, he grabs his overcoat and his hat. From his overcoat, he produces a single cigarette, pops it into his mouth, and he smokes.
Beautiful. Awesome. You get an inspiration point. Inspiration points can be used to reroll any roll except combat. Yeah, as it's not up. Cigarettes are called low sticks in this game.
Low sticks, got it.
Yes. The door slowly opens. You will see some Imperial Guardsmen. Imagine these huge towering men, if you've seen something out of Starship Troopers. They're wearing these carapace armor, this thick armor, helmets under their arms. As they pass you, you can see the low stick smoke fill the hallway. They all bump into the door. One of them kind of lay his hand on your chest. You alright there, pal? He's gonna pass you sort of a pretty hard thud on your chest, just like taking the air out of your lungs, as a full squad leaves, fully armed. They're apparently leaving to do some on a mission that is unknown to you.
Hey, watch it, pal. I gotta use these things. And he takes another deep drag of that low stick.
He'll sort of scoff at you, and they'll just keep going, and one of them you'll hear him coming over his shoulder. Are you fucking crazy? That's the Inquisition! He is going to throw one last look over his shoulder in terror as he looks back at you. And you're standing in the opening, sort of meeting his eyes. This soldier turned from confident to scared shitless in a second.
He's gonna flash a cheeky smile as though he knew what he was doing the entire time, but he's going to nod the brim of his hat forward in acknowledgement.
Sick. The guys will just leave, not looking back, and leave you alone in the hallway. To the left is the medical infirmary, to the right is the armory. What do you do?
He's going to, or Sam, I'll go ahead and butt the cigarette. I'm going to pinch it between my index finger and my thumb, toss it out into the wilderness.
The power.
Turn around toward the armory and meet with Hector.
Sick. There's a keypad on the right-hand side, and there's a sliding metal door, highly secure. You know the code as the only other man on this station, other than Hector. You will press the code in the keypad. Do you want to make up what it is? What the code is?
Yeah, it's going to be 000000.
Nice. You just like jam the 0 button, and in the back of your mind, you're like, the guardsman will never figure this out. The door slides open. Hector is standing there. He's quite tall, rigged, sturdy-looking guy. Not too muscular. He's wearing his white shirt for once, kind of shocked as the door opens. Has military pants and boots. Looks up to you. He's holding a gun that he slowly sort of turns towards the door and then lowers as soon as he sees you. Samuel! It's a pleasure to see you again. What are you doing here? He will sort of
just
run over to the table and drop the gun, sorry. Go ahead.
very good. Nothing much, just waiting until my time. Had a couple of moments to get a quick smoke in, but... So you tell me that my gear's about there. I know that I'm not exactly the way that I was built before, but hopefully it would have gotten down to a correct fit.
You look good. Perhaps you need something heavier. Perhaps a long-range rifle. Can I convince you to take more care of yourself, Samuel? I worry for you. Your pistol will not be enough.
If these grunts can't take care of me, I'm sure that my pea shooter won't do very much more anyway.
He's gonna walk over to the table, grab this giant fucking long rifle, turn around. Perhaps the locals here are benefiting from environmental factors that make them stronger, faster. Perhaps it is beyond the material. I have seen similar mutations on my home world of Palan, dedicated to mining. The conclusion? Burn them out of their caves. He will display this canister of gas underneath the gun. You should take this flamer. Just in case.
Why don't I bring the whole armory with me and have all of the locals descend upon us? I know that when you have a hammer in hand, everything looks like a nail, but this requires a little more finesse, I think.
He'll kind of chuckle a little bit. I will never understand the Ordocenos. You are fighting aliens, yet you are barely armed. Very well. He will kind of look back to the table, put the flamer back, walk over to one of the walls, and you just see these endless stacks of heavy weapons. When the rest of the men arrive, they will be more heavily armed.
I should hope so. I'm not exactly the peak of my physical condition, but I will do my service and I will do my time.
I have no doubt. And your Inquisitor, Hector Typh, is he coming as well?
I don't think that that's a question for me to answer. And he's going to look into Hector's eyes and see if he's trying to determine something further or if he's overstepping his bounds.
Beautiful. You can do a fellowship test for me. Probably charm.
That is success with 6 additional degrees.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Okay. You're literally Sam Spade over there. This charisma is just dripping off of you. Hector gets kind of insecure and goes, I currently don't know where my Inquisitor, Deterius Ikman III, is, but he should be on the way. But I am also here for an important cause. However, I cannot disclose it as of right now. But know that it is important. He goes back to brushing one of the weapons. Yeah.
Again, he's gonna nod the brim of his hat and just go ahead and look over at the pile of equipment that has been set for him. He's going to visually inspect each piece, and in particular, he's going to take a close look at the armor, even though he knows that the armor Hector is perfectly capable. He has some slight insecurities about himself. He kind of pinches at his ribs, and there's a little bit of loose fat, but it's nothing too bad. It's just loose skin.
Nice.
But he's not built quite the way that he used to be, and he wonders if he'll be able to fill out this suit.
Hector is luckily not looking as you do this. Carefully studying the weapons. He's going to turn around and go, "Yes? Is there anything else?"
Nothing, just admiring your handicraft.
Very well. He's going to grab one of the weapons, go back to the table, and start dismantling it.
Samuel sighs as he walks back toward the living quarters and waits out his time until he's called to the Archconfessor.
Beautiful. You can enter whenever you want. There is no specific time you have to be there.
Okay. He's going to sit up in his bunk for a little bit, trying to sort out his nerves. He stares off into nothing, the cold of the room gripping at him.
Beautiful.
But eventually he does stand and he heads toward the shrine room.
Awesome. You get an inspiration point. You can only have one, but I give out several because it's awesome. You enter the room, and hold on, we might have to take a little break because my Dropbox has not updated my document.
Okay, should we take a 5 or a 10? I might take a real
Yeah, just take 5
break.
minutes. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'll update it. Yeah, I was on my laptop yesterday and it wasn't updating between the Dropbox for some reason.
Cool.
No, jag vet inte.
Curious what would... I'm just also curious what Dustin will do.
What's up?
I mean,
So,
me and him are on, I think, our last foot for those characters, too.
oh, you sound a bit robotic, James. You good?
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Is that the voiceover thing?
No, it's just a regular voice.
Wow, I was about to say.
Yopo,
That's pretty
iti,
cool.
Gato, misto, patto.
When you're a robot in real life.
Voiceover for Doc, so I get kind of like a nasally respirator sound constantly because he's always in his respirator, so I want to get that kind of voice going so it's more in sync with the character.
Nice.
Then I go to a regular voice whenever, he takes it off. But until then,
Oh. also looking forward. An inquisitorial agent will join our merry band of soon-to-be dead guardsmen.
I also like the fact this requires a certain finesse. Cuts over to all our guardsmen beating people with the back, like with the butts of our rifles, just like doing a last stand as we just gun everyone down.
Yes, that's
certain
definitely
finesse.
300% gonna happen.
Cleo just like shoots someone with his shotgun and does that like one-handed like pump of it. Just bring it to the other hand, ching, and bring it back up.
Finesse.